All of you are welcome to the group. For people who are new to the site, recently there was a post going around on X that basically pointed out that the US SEC website had a static file called Comprehensive Proposal XRP as a Strategic Financial Asset for the US. I need to talk about this again before I get into what I really want to talk about in this video. Bank XRP was the first to post this, and it did include the full breakdown of how trillions of dollars could be unlocked through XRP, as well as the US part of Nostro accounts. Again, this is 5 pages long, and it all sounds great on paper until you understand that almost anyone could put these files on the SEC website. As we saw from vet_x0, anyone can send ideas and opinions to the SEC, and after a short review period, they are posted on the website. This is not a paper that the SEC wrote about an XRP strategic reserve. Again, this made a lot of people very upset at first, especially since it did get a lot of likes, comments, and other interactions. Just look at how many posts about it there are. 7.6K likes, 400,000 views, and another 218,000. There were 2 posts by the same person. Like, when we think about what's going on here, this is pretty much engagement farming. There are a lot of people who don't know that this is fake who are posting it. In fact, I think Bank XRP posted this about 5 hours ago. He also wrote another post about how the paper was sent in by an unknown person. To say it again, a lot of people don't know. This is not true, and it is one of the biggest problems in the XRP community that some of this information is shared just because it gets a lot of views, clicks, and likes. This is a big problem. Hey everyone, I just want you to know that this document is not an official SEC document, even though it looks great on paper. It was just posted by the person who sent it to the SEC. Having said that, it is still great to see that people are aware of how useful XRP is and what might happen if it became a key US financial asset in that strategic stockpile. But enough about that. Let's talk about the Genius Act, which is a very exciting law that is being made. In the past few days, Eleanor posted something that said, new, the updated text of Hagerty's stablecoin bill, the Genius Act, has dropped. As you can see, this has a lot of information about reserve requirements, liquidity requirements, compliance requirements, and other things that have to do with stablecoins and purchases made in US dollars. And most of these are stablecoins that are made outside of the United States. But there are also a lot of talks about producers in general. A lot of these things are related to RLUSD. Thanks to Jeremy Hogan for this. We have this all broken down. So I only had time to quickly read over the new stablecoin bill, which is called the Genius Act. I have a few thoughts and a big question. I need help right now. I'll answer his question right now. In the comments, many people have already said that passing this act would be the end of USTD. That's number one. That's number two. This bill is big and thick. It talks about a lot of things like how US federal laws on stablecoins affect foreign laws, state laws, and other things. I just couldn't handle it all. The third thing is that the capital requirements, AML requirements, and other rules are all clear for both RLUSD and USDC. Fourth, looking at the bigger picture, the law makes it clear that stablecoins will be able to work with the regular digital banking system. The merge is being thought out. Yes, this is something I want to talk about more after this is over because it's important to bring up. Now, his question is whether the Genius Act forces the company that makes any stablecoin to have the technology to follow any legal order. Later, the act says that the producers must have the technological ability to freeze, burn, or even stop the transfer of payment stablecoins. Can Ripple or Circle really freeze RLUSD or USDC after it's been sent? Thank you. I didn't think that was possible for either of them. For those who have been paying attention to the changes, there is in fact a clawback revision on RLUSD. In this case, RLUSD could be frozen and also pulled back. Even vet_x0 replied, you know, I'll never be able to answer with something as dank as your comparisons, so I won't even try. But yes, ROUSD can be frozen and clawbacked on both the Ethereum and XRP ledgers if law enforcement or a court orders Ripple to do so. I didn't like the clawback feature because it slowed down the creation of the ROUSD AMM pull on the XRP record because of the change, but it was still good. By looking at this bill, they made it possible. But what do you know? I've always thought that the clawback amendment was very strong because it was this amendment that made it possible for Franklin Templeton to tokenize on Stellar. This is the reason I've always said that change is so important. The institutional regulatory side of things finds this trait to be very, very important. So why am I talking about old news now? All of this took place on March 10th. Yes, it's because of this. I want to give a big shout out to Bank XRP. The Genius Act makes regulations for stablecoins smarter, could help the RLUSD in growth across borders. Look it over. People who work with digital assets, and more importantly, people in the United States deserve answers. Consumers and companies have been left in the dark for far too long because there hasn't been a regulatory framework. This confusion has also stopped people in the United States from coming up with new ideas. Today, that will be different. The Genius Act is a step forward for both Democrats and Republicans to make sure that stablecoins are safe and effective financial tools. The Genius Act sets up sensible rules that require stablecoin issuers to keep reserves backed one-to-one, follow anti-money laundering laws, and protect American customers while boosting the strength of the US dollar in the global economy. This is meant to keep chance and new ideas in the United States instead of sending them abroad. We are also taking steps today to stop financial regulators from being used as weapons. Again, stablecoins are becoming more important because they are good for the US dollar. They are being talked about and dealt with thoroughly. Now is the time to do something about stablecoins. The US wants to back this up. We already know how popular fixed coins are going to be, so they want to be ready. For the record, Brad Garlinghouse did quote this post from the US Senate Banking Committee, and he did say that safe coin policy is on the way. I want to thank all the senators who worked hard on the Genius Act, and he did name them all. Let's give this some more thought before we decide what to do. So Ripple is a company that has been working with the biggest banks and other institutions for a long time, helping them with blockchain-based services. Okay, let's go back to Jeremy Hogan's post because this bill has now been fully passed. In an instant, we can see that merge taking place when we look at this. Here are some things from this. The first thing I want to do is break this down right here because these are some of the changes that were made to the Genius Act before it was passed out of committee today. There are still a few things that need to be taken care of before this is fully approved. That being said, this is one of the most important bills we have right now when it comes to stablecoins and crypto. The most important thing here, though, is how all of this relates to adding stablecoins to the US banking system. The merge is being thought out, things are starting to happen, and the digital asset area is starting to connect, plug, and play with the trading system. The way things have always been done is changing. It's going digital, and stablecoins are the best way to make it happen. It's crazy to think that Ripple just released their USD stablecoin. All of these big regulatory approvals are being given to them. They now have more than 60 of them. They are fully compliant and controlled. And all of this is happening at a time when it seems like the SEC case is about to go away for good. Just by chance, I find this very interesting. You all already know who I am. Strange things don't happen to me. A lot of this seems like it has been planned for a very long time. After hearing from Eleanor, we do have some joint changes that were made to the Genius Act before it was passed today. According to Senate staff, these things were added. Changes were made to make it clearer how payment stablecoins that were not released by a permitted issuer should be handled. Change that makes regulators think about the skills, experience, and honesty of the company's top leaders when considering an application. Addition of text that says a payment stablecoin issuer can't use names that aren't what they seem to be. As it stands, the bill's goal is to keep things the same when it comes to master account access at the Federal Reserve. There will also be an amendment that gives users of stablecoins top priority over other creditors in bankruptcy. Finally, there will be an amendment that makes reserve requirements clearer. To go over this one more time, you can see all the steps that are being taken to complete the stablecoin law correctly. In this way, we don't totally stop innovation and things also start moving quickly forward. It also brings attention to many big players in and outside of the US who want to support the US dollar. Since these stable coins fully back the US dollar, I think Ripple has a lot to gain from this. And I want to thank Subjective Views for this because Congress has said many times how important it is for stable coins to be closely regulated. And they specifically named the New York Department of Financial Services. Random event? I don't think so. The RLU